that, what is denotation? So that is the dictionary definition of a word. Do you see the denotation, the D, and then dictionary? So then you can remember, always when we speak about a denotation, it is the dictionary definition of the word. So that's basically the literal meaning. Now, if we look at this example of a snake, in the dictionary or the literal meaning, it means it is a long, legless reptile. So that is then the denotation, this word. Now, if we look at what is connotation. So that is the emotional or cultural meaning a word carries. In other words, the idea or feeling. It can be either positive or it can be negative. Now, the word that we use, snake, it's both used for positive and evil, or positive and a negative meaning that it can carry. For example, the connotation of a snake that is positive, it can be healing, wisdom, or protection. Or then a negative effect, it can be evil, danger, or betrayal. So here we can see it is not the literal meaning of the word. The connotation, in other words, that is the idea or the feeling. So it can be positive or negative, and it's the emotional or cultural meaning that a word carries. Now let us look at these comparisons. We have the word, the denotation, which is the dictionary meaning, and then the connotation, the feeling or the idea that this word creates. The first one, home. Now, if we look at it in the dictionary, the literal meaning, it's the place where one lives. But the connotation, so the feeling that you have or the idea, can be warmth, family, and comfort. From this, we can see that is a positive connotation. When we look at the word cheap. Now, in the dictionary, so the denotation is that it's low in cost. But the connotation, often negative, could be that it's poor quality or someone is stingy. Means they are cheap, they are stingy, they don't like to spend money. We can also, the word rose, we can look at that. The denotation is that it's a flower. The connotation, positive in this instance again, love, beauty, romance. So from here we can see that these words each have a meaning, or each of them has a meaning, a literal meaning, which is the denotation, and then each of them has a connotation to the word as well, either positive or negative. Now, why is this important? Why is it important that we should know about this? Well, writers use connotation to create tone and mood. So this helps readers to understand hidden meanings. Now, why must you as a learner specifically know this? It is because as soon as you create a picture in your mind, you'll know it's the connotation, and it's important for you to understand hidden meanings. So it is important in your visual literacy, your poetry, literature, writing, language structures, and comprehension. So you can see it will definitely assist you in your schoolwork. That's why it's important to know this. Now, word choice in context. Remember, when we read something, we must read it in context. So words may share the same denotation, but it can carry different connotations. Let's look at this example. If we take the word slim versus the word skinny. Now, both of them will mean thin. That's the denotation. But slim, usually the word slim has the more positive connotation. Then people will think of someone who's healthy or attractive. Whereas skinny, it's more the negative connotation where you will think about unhealthy or weak. Now, writers carefully choose words to show how readers feel, because you will create an image in your mind when you see this word. So it will depend on which image they want you to create. Do they want you to create a more positive connotation or the more negative connotation? The picture that you will create in your mind. And with this, they carefully choose words to shape how the reader feels, depending on the message they want to bring. Now let's look at another example. He bought a cheap car, or he bought an affordable car. So both of them again, the denotation low in cost. That's what the word means, cheap and affordable. But now cheap will suggest poor quality, so it will have a negative connotation. Whereas affordable will suggest a smart bargain. That will be a positive connotation. Now, the meaning is the same in the dictionary, but the effect is different. Let's look at that. If we think of a cheap car, he buys a cheap car, what we immediately, the image we create will be that it's poor in quality. But if we said he bought an affordable car, the image will change in your mind. So from this, we can see how important it is for writers to use the correct word in order for them to create the correct image that they would want you to have in your mind when you read it. Now let's just quickly recap. Denotation, that is the dictionary meaning. Connotation, that's feelings and ideas that are connected to a word. Writers use connotation to create tone. So remember now, the tone can be serious, it can be funny, it can be positive, or it can be negative, like we've seen in the examples. It also builds mood. So either happy, sad, tense, or hopeful. And now remember, for understanding this, if you understand denotation is the dictionary meaning, connotation, feelings or ideas, then by taking all of this into consideration, this understanding will help you to it will help you in your visual literacy, your literature, your writing, your comprehension tests, and your language structures. So if you understand the denotation and the connotation, you will be assisted in all skills of language. Always remember to look at the connotation, see how they create the tone. Do they intend it to be serious, funny, positive, or negative? And then how does this build the mood? Either happy, sad, tense, or hopeful. And like we've seen from our examples, one word, denotation, the denotation can be the same. Then for the next word, it's the same denotation like we've seen at cheap and affordable. We saw that as well at slim and skinny. And then it can have different connotations depending on how you use the word. Just one last example that I also want to leave with you. This was something I always ask my learners in class. I ask them what it means when I say the word dumb. Then usually they would say that it means it's someone who's not very clever. But that's the connotation. The dictionary, so the denotation of that word will be, if you're dumb, it means that someone cannot speak. So that is also an example of one word, the denotation meaning mute or cannot speak for the word dumb. But the connotation, the feeling or the idea is that it is an idea that is not very intelligent. Okay, and that is then everything for today. I hope that you understand denotation and connotation better now, and you must enjoy the next lesson. Thank you very much.